What's up guys, this is Cyphrix wishing you a positive, bright, and shiny new day. Lately I've been having a blast with dual blades and I come to you today with my thoughts on getting started and what you can expect. Over the next couple minutes I'm going to go over pros, cons, skills, and some tips to help your venture into dual blades be a successful and fun one. So let's get started.
Don't pause. Press play.
So the dual blades are one of many melee weapons featured in Rangers of Oblivion. They're part of the sustained DPS family shared with the armored gauntlets, and after experiencing them firsthand, I can see why. They share a similar hits per minute feel, while still having their own unique bursty playstyle. When I initially picked this game up, I was torn between dual blades and gauntlets, and I hope this info helps others in a similar situation decide which to try first. To give you a more direct comparison, within the sustained DPS family, early game gauntlets are far more mobile and rely on DPS over time, whereas dual blades have just a bit less mobility and trade that for much higher spike damage. And that's what got me about them. The dual blades feel like one part duelist and one part berserker with some stylish acrobatics thrown in. These aesthetics come with the highest spike damage I've seen in early games so far. I did not know a 4-digit single hit was possible at this stage in the game. The little bit of melee range you get is nice too. Similar to Lance, dual blades has access to targets above the ground and a little bit in front of it, so long as they're not too far away. Now some drawbacks include the heaviest stamina requirements I have seen thus far. Your third and most bread and butter skill, Last Rites, is a fairly large stamina dump and requires some serious awareness to maximize. Dual blades also rely on dodge rolls heavily and have no early game melee defenses. I'm really excited to see what runes do for dual blades later on. My biggest gripe with dual blades is something that really only affects solo gameplay, and that's the seemingly poor soul chain buildup. Dual blades relies more on manual part breaks, as I averaged 1 precious soul chain per fight. This compares sharply to the 3 soul chains I would average on bow and the 2 on gauntlets and lands. Being completely objective, I think it's to balance the spike damage, which it makes sense. Now something of a pro and con in my opinion is the depth that this weapon seems to have. Dual blades really rewards well thought out skill combinations and careful stamina use. A newer player may initially have trouble executing this, but I encourage them to keep at it. Experiments with combos and different wild souls rewarded me with some interesting ideas that with polish could be really effective. Some examples include extending Last Rites with Time Warp, or potentially boosting Last Rite damage with wild soul buffs. And yes, you can expect some videos of these at a later date. No worries. Now let's cover the attacks. To start, your main attack is a pretty standard combo of slices and stabs that are fairly quick and do decent DPS between your cooldowns. Besides continuous use, holding down the button does not charge up dual blades at all. Dual blade damage seems to rely mostly on Last Rite applications, and normal attack is just another way to apply it. More on that later, let's cover the other skills first. Your first skill, Somersault, is the acrobatic part of dual blades I mentioned before. You do a quick physics-defying horizontal tumble in midair. Connecting with any of the multiple hits will launch the final hammer drop, which carries the most weight. Sporting a 10-second cooldown, Somersault hits for up to 500% base damage and gives dual blades access to aerial attacks on overhead weak spots like Mantic Claws, Kang's Face, and Memix's Horn. Also, its hitbox is narrow and easy to focus on a particular spot. This makes it an effective Last Rites applicator. Your second skill, Blade Rush, turns your character into a running blender of sorts, running forward while rapidly attacking for up to 940% base total damage. Mechanics-wise, this skill is nearly identical to Lance's Savage Assault, and is just as good at focusing down and breaking weak points. The 16-second cooldown made me picky about using it for evasive maneuvers and focus more on using it to apply Last Rites. That said, Blade Rush does not need Last Rites to be an effective source of DPS and can do some part breaking all on its own. Now for your third skill, Last Rites. If the style of dual blades is what attracts you, the damage and flourish of Last Rites is the factor that keeps you, as it gives a lot of technical and satisfying depth to dual blades. This complex little nugget is a buff that stacks a debuff on targets called Cruel Blade on every hit. Once activated, Last Rites drains your stamina quickly, so its use requires some careful planning. Use Last Rites a second time to stop the stamina drain and perform a final dual blade draw attack. This attack, regardless if it hits, detonates all Cruel Blade stacks, each hitting for 70% base damage and stacking as high as 8 times for 560% base damage on a max stack. Last Rites can be applied to multiple parts during its duration and can also crit, making it a powerful addition to dual blade DPS. It also color codes the target to help you know when to move on to another part. The colors work something like this. Green means it's 1 to 2 stacks for 70 to 140% damage. Blue is 3 to 5 stacks for 210 to 350% damage. Purple is 6 to 7 stacks for 420 to 490% damage, and orange is a max stack, or 8 stacks, for 560% damage. This is extremely helpful because despite the skill description, Last Rites doesn't seem to apply 1 stack for every hit in actual practice. I tested this in training mode and found that some hits hold less value than others, so counting hits is not the most reliable way to know you're at a full stack of Last Rites. Look for the easy to read bright colors instead. I like to detonate when I'm in purple and orange. Blue is acceptable in a tight situation. This leads me to a few tips, most surrounding how to use Last Rites. First, use it a lot. It only has about a 5-second cooldown and is meant for liberal use. Don't let the stamina drain scare you away. In my experience, it's better to use it and apply a few stacks right away after dodging an attack. This will help you take advantage of behemoth openings and max that DPS. My second tip is to detonate Last Rites before you hit below 25 to 30% of your stamina. Dodge rolls during Last Rites are very taxing, and you must be picky about where and when you're burning your stamina. After an application of Last Rites, I found it easier to just detonate what was applied and allow my stamina to recover between exchanges. Waiting to get 8 stacks is not mandatory and can be more harmful than helpful. I'd advise against redlining your stamina. 25 to 30% leaves you with at least 1 dodge roll. Invest in stamina gear. The level 30 Howler set is the first stamina buff I've found personally, and it's been really nice. It comes with Youthful Vigor Basic, which gives me an additional 20 stamina per second. It also comes with Thirst for War level 1, which gives me 1.5% boost to crit damage and crit chance every 30 seconds and stacks 6 times. It says it resets upon break, but I have no idea what a break means at this time, and I haven't really seen it reset. I would love some help on that. Now these bonuses come at the cost of 7.5% attack and armor from a Coward debuff. In my opinion, it's not a bad trade-off for more Last Rite opportunities and more dodge rolls. This armor goes really well with the raw damage dual blades at level 30, but works with any of the dual blades regardless of element. Lastly, plan out your fights if a full cripple is your main goal. I average only 1 soul chain per fight, as I mentioned before. That's 1 precious free part break. I found focusing on parts one at a time to be effective, starting with the part that's easy to access and has a decent weakness to dual blade damage. Once the behemoth was down, I could focus on the out of the way but easy to break part. An example of this would be breaking Mantis' right or left claw to open up breaking its antenna. After that, I could use my single soul chain to break the other unbroken claw while I attacked the easy to access wings. As for Wild Souls, the ones I found most interesting were Attack Wild Souls that gave damage or crit buffs, Element Wild Souls for element dual blades, and of course my favorite Time Stop and Time Warp Wild Souls. These all allowed for more damage in some way or another, and of course this is just my opinion. All Wild Souls are viable, especially support souls if that's your thing. And that's it guys. Sorry this one took a second, but I did a lot of experimenting with different armor types, different skills, and different Wild Souls, and I wanted to come as thorough as possible. Again, this is just a beginning guide. I'm sure that things change up with runes and in-game fun, which I'm not there yet. But hope this helped. Enjoy. I'm on to my next video. Y'all take care. Hey guys, thanks again for choosing my channel to spend your time. If you liked and or learned anything, feel free to roll your face over that like button and subscribe for more. Also, I invite you to join me in my new Discord channel so all your awesome ideas can be buzzed directly to my brain via my pants pocket. Thanks for watching. Comment down below. See you again soon. Peace!